If you've ever felt that frustration, that feeling that your vocals just aren't sitting right in the mix, or they sound thin, harsh, or just plain amateur, then this video is the intervention you need. Look, I've been there. I've been recording all night long. I've almost quit recording entirely, and it's all because I couldn't nail my vocals. But there were 10 universal audio plugins that didn't just improve my mixes, they fundamentally changed my career. They all have a story, a specific moment where they became indispensable. And by the end of this countdown, I'm not just gonna give you a list, I'm giving you the ultimate cheat code for radio-ready vocal chain that has saved my ass on countless projects. Stick with me until the very end, because a combination of plugins 1, 2, and 3 is the payoff that will transform your next mix instantly. This is my definitive top 10 universal audio vocal plugins. Let's start with reverb, a reverb that surprised everyone. All right, kicking off our list in number 10, the one I didn't think I needed. It's the Capital Chambers. This is a competitive pick because most people go for a straight plate or a hall, but my story for this one starts when I wanted to make a emo punk song, and it was for the lead vocal. I was trying out all these different reverbs. I wanted that vintage Hollywood air. I tried everything, the 140, the 250, nothing worked. Then I slapped this bad boy on. Decay time around like 2 seconds, maybe, give or take. And suddenly the vocal wasn't just swimming in reverb, it was enveloped by a vast natural space.
Every man needs a nemesis, a desert that he cannot cross. To keep the soul in wonder, the belly must have hunger. He needs the vultures. And every man needs an Everest, a mountain that he cannot climb. To keep the head humble.
The key is how this plugin handles early reflections. It's complex, it's subtle, and it makes the vocal sound like it was recorded in the actual Capital Chambers, like $1 million room. If your vocal track sounds too dry and the background vocals need to sound expensive, ditch the simple plate and reach for this. It's the secret weapon for that massive, natural depth. At number 9, we have the EP34 Tape Echo. I call this the vibe starter. My initial mistake was thinking that this was just a delay, but it is so much more. This is the sound of a song I was mixing. I'd just broken up with someone and I wanted to do an indie rock song. My vocals were okay, but it was too clean. It felt digital actually. The story here is the preamp emulation. Cranked the record volume into red, and suddenly I had this beautiful, saturated harmonic distortion. I then used the echo with a short delay time, almost like a doubling effect. It added this subtle analog wobble. This is where it really shines. When your clean modem delay sounds too sterile, use this bad boy. It is a character piece. Even with the delay set to 0, the input drive alone makes the vocal sound thicker and older in the best way possible. Coming in at number 8, EMT250 Classic Electronic Reverb. The iconic spaceship. This started my love affair with huge cinematic ballads. The singer had a really good voice. She was built like different to me. It clashed with her sustained notes. She was so smooth. So what does a 250 do and why is it legendary? Well, it provides a shimmering, almost metallic texture to the decay, but it's digital and it doesn't disappear into the mix. It just floats on top, adds a bit of air, and it doesn't clutter the mid-range.
Dreamt about, make me beautiful, make me beautiful. And I tried all the things that you dreamt about. And I tried all the things that you dreamt about. Make me beautiful, make me beautiful. And I tried all the things that you, and I tried all the things that you dreamt about. Make me beautiful, make me beautiful. And I tried all the things that you dreamt about. Make me.
I typically use a reverb at around 2.5 seconds decay for sustained notes, and it adds a beautiful, distinct, expensive tail. All right, coming in at number 7, Lexicon 224, the 80s pop glue. We're talking about the sound of the 80s, the sound of pop perfection. If the EMT 250 is the airy legend, the 224 is the deep, moody pop machine. Here's the story. I was mixing covers of Take On Me. I just couldn't replicate that huge grainy space, that large hall program of the 224, specifically focusing on the low frequencies and high frequency. I was focused on the decay adjustments. The ability to tune the decay based on frequency is the secret sauce. It makes a vocal feel like it's coming from an impossibly big yet cohesive space.
When the weekend comes, gonna go out. Never slow down, never slow down. 'Cause we're young in love in a ghost town. Never slow down, never slow down. When the weekend comes, gonna go out. Never slow down, never slow down.
If you're mixing background vocals and you want them to sit deep behind the lead and you don't want it sounding muddy, then the 224 is the glue. It pushes them way back in the mix that no other reverb I've tried can do. Halfway there at number 6, we have a total powerhouse, the Manly Voxbox. This is a competitive pick because it has 4 plugins in one. I use this when I want to do a great vocal take and I'm short on time. My biggest, oh my god, what the fuck moment was when I was writing a jingle. I needed a clean, present, smooth voiceover. And I used this preamp for the tube color and combined that with a limiter for light leveling. It's almost Pultec EQ style for a simple high shelf air boost. And I turn the DS on in all-in-one user interface. It's done within 5 minutes and I'm all about speed and efficiency and getting a radio-ready vocal. This is the ultimate efficiency plugin. It presents a logical, pre-configured tube chain. If you need speed and perfection, this is your solution.
I see you taking care of yourself, keeping honest your lies, taking care for your wealth. I see you taking care of yourself, keeping honest your lies, taking care for your wealth. I see you taking care of yourself, keeping honest your lies, taking care for your wealth.
Moving into the top 5, things get serious. At number 5 is the legendary Fairchild Tube Limiter Collection. Specifically the 670 on a stereo bus. But for vocals, I usually go for the 660. The story here is about texture. I had a phenomenal female vocalist, but the performance was incredibly dynamic. She had whispers and she had screams, and 1176 was too grabby, and the LA-2A was far too slow. The 660 in limit mode has a unique way of clamping down the peaks. And then while it's doing that, it's simultaneously giving the vocal a beautiful golden sheen. It truly makes the vocal sound expensive and effortless.
Oh, you know I came to play, keeping y'all honest, rising from the storm with the keepers of the promise, in a new direction but still trailblazing sonics. I've been in it for the longest but just getting started. Oh, it's the fuel for the fire, a flip of the switch and we're taking it higher. Edge of your seat, down to the wire. Now get up on your feet, it's time to sing with the choir.
Here's my recommendation. If you want to put this in your lead vocal, use it in the second stage of compression. It glues the vocal in just a way that screams vintage rock royalty. It's like the Rolls Royce of compressors. Number 4, Pultec CL1B Mark II compressor. The modern R&B smoothness. I've moved this one way up because this thing is arguably the most important modern compressor for smooth contemporary vocals. So why is it so high? Well, the story of the CL1B is the story of modern radio. When I first saw how pros use this mixing R&B tracks, I realized how perfectly it handles the subtle dynamics of a breathy, sustained vocal performance. It's an optical compressor, like the LA-2A, but cleaner, faster, and has a unique ability to apply very heavy gain reduction, all without sounding overly compressed. It's the kind of compression that just feels good and sounds effortless. It is smooth, gentle, and musical. If the LA-2A is aggressive, this thing is your perfect gentle hug for the vocal. Coming in number 3, Pultec Passive EQ Collection. The low-end thick EQ. Now, we're in the top 3, the elite tier. This is always going to be on my vocal chain, 100% of the time. And at number 3, the Pultec Passive EQ Collection EQP-1A. This is a tone shaping philosophy. My signature move with the Pultec on vocal is the Pultec low end trick. So usually I'll boost around 100 Hz, and that adds body and weight. But then I'll simultaneously attenuate at the same frequency. And this tightens low end, making the vocal feel substantial without getting muddy. And then I like to boost at around 10K or 12K, and that's like pouring liquid silk onto your vocal. It's impossible to make this thing sound harsh.
There's a fire in your eyes without a doubt. Broken heart builds a broken house, but can you survive the fallout?
I don't like using surgical cuts in console, so I just forget about it. This is a broad stroke tone painter. If you want a vocal to feel solid and sound luxurious, this is your EQ after your compressor. Number 2, Teletronix LA-2A Leveler Collection. The Invisible Hand Compressor. This used to be my previous number 1, and for good reason. It's the runner-up coming in at number 2. The LA-2A compressor by Teletronix is the simplest, yet most effective compressor honestly ever made. You just have 2 dials. The story here is its ubiquity. I had a session where I tracked a singer and they would pull back on the high notes, like away from the mic. And if you imagine doing that on an SM7, it's basically goodbye vocals.
If you could speak around the silence, how loud would it be? If you could speak around the silence, how loud would it be?
I put the LA-2A Silver Edition on set to peak reduction to about 5 decibels, and I literally can just forget it's there. That is the magic. It is the invisible hand that gently massages dynamics. It sounds like an even better performance. If you have to choose only one compressor for the entire mix, then this thing is it. It works on every vocal, on every genre, and it's honestly mandatory to have that thing in console. Let's go to number 1. Number 1, the Neve 1073 Preamp and EQ Collection. The foundation of tone color. The plugin that starts almost every single professional vocal chain I build. My definitive number 1. Why do I put the Neve over the LA-2A? Because sound is built from the bottom up. The Neve isn't just an EQ, it's a preamp, it's a saturation tool, it's so much more than that. My story with the Neve 1073 is about discovering how to get that warm forward presence.
Silence we walk together, a broken path, a dotted line. This fighting becomes familiar.
I insert it first in my chain before compression in the unison slot, and then I just drive the input enough just to see the needle move slightly, and that adds a small amount of saturation and it instantly adds harmonic richness that nothing can match. My vocals cut through a mix, it sounds incredible, and it doesn't need excessive volume. Use this in the preamp section to add color and the EQ section for the 80 Hz high pass filter to just clean up the mud, especially we don't want that low frequency. And then add a little gentle 3.2K shelf boost for a bit more clarity and presence. The 1073 is where my vocals find its fundamental tone. So there you have it. My 10 career-saving UAD plugins for vocals. But I promised you a gift, a little bit of a cheat sheet for you, should you say, a cheat code for your perfect vocal chain. So the magic happens when you combine the best qualities of the top 3. The Neve 1073 inserted first for foundation and tonal warmth, put that in the preamp section of your unison, and then the LA-2A in the insert slot for effortless dynamic leveling. It's like invisible compression. And then you put the Pultec EQP-1A. Insert that last for luxury and final polish. The low antric and the 12K silk, which I said about earlier. Try running your next vocal through that specific chain, and I guarantee you will immediately hear the difference. It's the sound of thousands of hit records. In a video by Clean Bandit where they talk about their songs, they actually use a Neve 1073 as well. So it really is used by so many people. And now, this is yours. This specific sequence is the key. So I'm curious now, which of these plugins is in your current secret weapon? Let me know in the comment section down below. If this video brought you any value to your mixing, or if it gave you a new reason to fall in love with the UAD collection, please hit that like button down below. It genuinely helps my channel grow. And subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Thanks for watching. Happy recording. I'll see you in the next one.